What if I told you that Mercedes has been losing for 4 years? On purpose. For seasons relegated, without titles, without glory, but with a hidden plan. A plan that could have given life to the most ambitious car in recent F1 history, the W17. Are we facing the definitive resurgence of the Silver Arrow? January 2026 marks that reset. And it is no coincidence that on the day of the W17's presentation, George Russell and Kimi Antonelli completed 67 laps without a single problem at Silverstone. That day was not a simple day of filming. It was a declaration of intentions. It was Mercedes telling the world, we weren't asleep. We were getting ready. Because when you bet everything on one card, you can't allow it to fail. The W17 did not arrive at the paddock as a mystery. It came as a warning. This context is essential to understand what is coming. Because Mercedes doesn't just bring a new car. Bring a revenge plan to the millimeter. It brings the contained anger of 4 years of defeats. And above all, it brings up a dangerous idea. The idea that the more they were underestimated, the stronger they were becoming. Every great resurgence needs a turning point. And for Mercedes, that moment is 2026. Not because they have decided it, but because Formula One itself has been transformed. The new technical regulations not only represent a change in the rules of the game, they are literally the start of a new game. For more than a decade, F1 was defined by the hybrid era inaugurated in 2014. A period in which energy efficiency, the sophistication of hybrid V6 turbo power units, and the supremacy of ERS system management made the difference. Teams like Mercedes dominated those first years with an iron fist. But over time, that technical margin was closing. Improvements became incremental. The gaps narrowed. And most importantly, the opportunity to do something radical disappeared. But in 2026, that opportunity is back. And he has done it with more force than ever. For the first time in decades, F1 introduces a completely new technical concept. Shorter, narrower, lighter cars, and with active aerodynamics. That changes everything. Because it is no longer just about designing an efficient car. Now it's about designing a machine that can change shape and behavior dynamically during a lap. The car stops being a static block and becomes an adaptable system. Like a living organism that adjusts to every curve, every braking, every gust of wind. Furthermore, the power unit evolves towards a model of almost perfect balance between internal combustion and electrical energy. A 50-50 that forces us to reimagine not only the engine but the way it is driven. It's not enough to be powerful. Now you have to be smart. You have to know how to regenerate, deploy, manage, and above all, synchronize each component of the hybrid system as if it were an orchestra. And that's where Mercedes' experience comes into play. 4 years, the German team not only worked on its chassis. At the same time, together with Petronas, it developed a new generation of sustainable fuels that not only comply with new regulations, but also optimize thermal performance and combustion efficiency like no other mixture in the paddock. The engine is not just power. It is integration. And that integration is precisely what sets the W17 apart. Future dominance will no longer be dictated by the fastest car on the straight, nor the one with the most load in the corner. It will be dictated by whoever best understands the art of balance between multiple systems, who manages to harmonize each moving part of the car with the driver's intelligence and race strategy. And Mercedes, having invested years in this new paradigm, starts from a privileged position. This change in regulations has caught many teams in reactive mode. Some continue trying to adapt previous concepts to new demands. Others are trying to copy ideas they don't fully understand yet. Mercedes, on the other hand, designed the W17 from the first sketch with these rules in mind. They did not adapt, they anticipated. Therefore, the new regulation does not represent an obstacle for them. It represents your ideal terrain. An ecosystem designed, almost inadvertently, to reward those who knew how to play chess when everyone was playing sprint. And now, for the first time in years, Mercedes has the advantage not only in power, not only in aerodynamics, but in the most difficult factor to build in modern F1. Total synchronization between car regulations and long-term strategy. The W17 is not an answer to the others. It is a declaration of technical independence in the new order of Formula One. Because when everything changes, whoever adapts best is the one who dictates the new rules. The Mercedes W17 is not just another new car with a recycled name. It is the physical expression of a philosophy that has evolved after years of failures, introspection, and technical self-criticism. And to understand the magnitude of this change, you have to look at it not as a logical evolution of the W15 or W16, but as a total reinterpretation of what Mercedes believes a modern car should be in the post-hybrid era. From the first look at the W17 renders, there are clear signs that something has profoundly changed in Brackley. The chassis not only looks more compact and aggressive, it is designed to behave as a dynamic system, where every centimeter of the aerodynamic surface works in sync with the track conditions, the driver's inputs, and the demands of the hybrid system. And that idea of synchrony is the central pillar of the design. One of the most telling changes is the absence of the ventilation slot between the front spoiler and the flat bottom, a feature that had defined previous generations of Mercedes. This decision is neither aesthetic nor coincidental. It is a commitment to redirect the aerodynamic behavior of the front axle. Instead of focusing solely on channeling air into the floors to generate downforce, the W17 appears to have prioritized stability in slow corners, one of the team's historical weaknesses since 2022. With this new configuration, the airflow behaves in a more controlled manner in low-speed apexes, where the car previously lost traction and precision. But the change is not only aerodynamic. The front suspension has been redesigned with what appears to be a raised upper arm geometry, which improves the response of the tire in the compression phase, especially in high lateral load corners. This type of architecture had already been successfully explored by Red Bull, but now Mercedes adapts it to its own concept, seeking to reduce nose oscillation when braking and improve corner entry, two areas where the W15 visibly suffered. The rear part, for its part, introduces a more compact and elevated diffuser, probably with the intention of facilitating the efficiency of the outflow and avoiding the generation of unstable vortices. This, in combination with active aerodynamics on the rear wing, allows the car to breathe better at high speeds and recover energy more efficiently without compromising downforce. But perhaps the most interesting thing about the W17 is that it is not designed to have a single strong point. There is no aerodynamic trick, nor a star solution like Braun's double diffuser in 2009 or the radical side pods of the RB18. What there is a total integration. A consistent concept from the tip of the front spoiler to the tip of the diffuser. And that coherence is, in itself, a revolution. From the point of view of energy flow, the W17 also proposes a new way of thinking about the relationship between engine, battery, and strategy. With a 50-50 distribution between combustion and electricity, the car demands impeccable thermal management. Here, Mercedes seems to have opted for a segmented cooling system, with internal heat exchange channels that are activated in different phases of the lap. This allows temperatures to be maintained within ideal ranges without excessive dependence on external flow, which improves energy efficiency and reduces aerodynamic drag. As for the cockpit, millimeter adjustments have been made to the pilot's position to improve the center of gravity and the visibility of the data flow on the steering wheel. Antonelli, who comes from F2, has highlighted in his first statements that the car is natural in its response. And that's huge praise coming from a driver who never drove in the pre-ground effect era. If a rookie can get the rhythm out of the W17 from the first test, it means that the car has a solid foundation. The key word here is not speed. It's predictability. The W17 has been conceived to be predictable in its behavior, versatile in its configurations, and stable in its performance delivery lap after lap. That predictability, which sometimes sounds boring, is actually the basis of the confidence a driver needs to attack at the limit. And that balance between conceptual revolution and controlled evolution is what differentiates the W17. It's not the most radical car in appearance, but it might be the smartest in operation. It doesn't shout out its advantages. He whispers them, until the traffic lights turn on. Everything we've seen of the Mercedes W17 so far is promising. A mature technical work. A refined machine. A clear philosophy. But as we well know, Formula One is not won in the renders, nor in the shakedowns, nor even in the preseason tests. You win under pressure. You win on the track. You win when the traffic lights go out and each team shows its true cards. And that is the question that is beginning to resonate louder in the paddock. Is the W17 really the final piece of the puzzle, or are we facing another winter illusion that will be crushed by the reality of the competition? For Mercedes, the challenge is no longer just technical. It's psychological. It's cultural. It is knowing how to handle the weight of expectations after 4 years of frustrations. Because while the rising from the shadows narrative is powerful, it also comes with enormous pressure. Every lap of the W17 will be analyzed to the millimeter. Every failure will be amplified. And each victory, if it comes, will have to justify not only the work of the present, but also the wait for the past. But what sets this project apart from Mercedes' other failed attempts is that there is no sign of improvisation. The W17 has arrived on the grid as a complete car, not as a base that needs to be developed against the clock. And that could make the difference in a season where every detail matters. However, the competitive environment of 2026 is not going to make the path easier. McLaren has not slowed down. Red Bull, although undergoing internal transformation, remains a technical titan with the ability to react. Ferrari, with Hamilton at the wheel, will seek redemption after its irregular start. And for the first time in years, mid-sized teams like Aston Martin or Williams have shown signs that they can bother if the conditions are right. Leave me in the comments what you think about all this.